Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Good, Chaitanya. Let's proceed. So I don't think we need any revision on the yesterday's topic, which was about the control flow. It was just about the control flow, nothing else. Okay, so we have discussed the static context independently and instance context independently. So we combined together in the yesterday session and we understood about the control flow. Nothing else, only control flow we have understood. Okay, so we have understood separately about the static context and separately about the instance context, and I have discussed a few examples on top of these particular topics. Okay, so today the topic is going to be a very new topic. So we will understand some methods. Okay, there is a method called forName method. Okay, forName method, and another method by the name of newInstance method. So we will discuss about the forName method and the newInstance method. Okay, before even understanding about this method, what is the actual requirement? We will understand that. Why do we need to understand, the forName method and the newInstance method? Why should we discuss about this methods? We will understand that. Okay, for that, to proceed with our discussion, I am taking a class, a simple class. Name of the class is class A. Okay. Inside this class, I am just taking a static block. Okay. System.out.println. Okay. So we know already the static blocks are recognized and executed at the time of loading. At the time of loading the .class file to the memory, the respective .class file to the memory. We know these things already. So I am keeping a statement like a very readable statement and a very meaningful statement, just class loading. Okay. And I am taking a constructor. Okay, and again we know the constructor gets executed the moment the object is created. Yes or no? The moment you create an object, right? For example, for the class A, the moment you create, how the object gets created for the class A, it is not getting created automatically. You need to define something like a obj equal to new A. Okay. This is how the object gets created. Okay, the moment the object is getting created, the respective constructor will be invoked or instantiated or will get invoked, right? So a meaningful statement could be like this: object is created. Okay, so if you want to invoke this particular block, constructor block, object needs to be created. If you want to invoke the static block, what things that we need to do? We need to load the respective .class file to the memory. In this case, a.class file needs to be loaded inside the JVM. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, so I'm taking another class, public public test. Okay, this is a test class, and inside this class I am going to take a main method, public static void main. Okay, this is the prototype of the main method. We know these things already. So string array box. Okay, we have a main method. Okay, so we know that, okay, if I just try to execute this code, the output is going to be definitely blank. Output is going to be blank because there are two classes here, guys. Just try to understand. Public, this is, there are two classes here. One is we have a class A and we have another class by the name of test. Test class is there and A class is there. The moment I start compiling and even after the compilation of the execution, you don't see anything in the output, guys. Why? Because in the main method, no instructions are there. It is empty. Definitely the output is going to be blank. The output is going to be blank. Okay, but I want to load a.class file to the JVM. I want to load what? I want to load a.class file to the JVM. In order to load a.class file automatically, the statement, this is how we need to we can load the a.class file to the JVM automatically. So object creation is required. aobj equal to new. Okay, by this statement we know that a.class file will be loaded inside the JVM. Okay, because of this instruction, whenever the JVM is encountering this instruction, first thing is a.class file will be loaded inside the JVM. Because of that, okay, the static contact will be recognized and executed. So the output is going to be what? Class loading. This will be displayed in the console. First thing. Second thing is, because of this constructor call, because of this a constructor call, okay, the output in the second line in the console is going to be what? Object is creating. Yes or no? These two things you get to see in the console, right? Yes or no? Are you getting this? Okay, the idea is I do not want to do this. I do not want to get these things happen automatically. So I do not want to create the object. If I create an object, definitely a.class file will be loaded inside the JVM. But I do not want to create object. Without creating an object, I need to send a.class file to the JVM. Okay, what do I mean is very simple. Let me open the paint screen. Okay, so far we have understood the things in a generic way. So this is how our understanding is. Okay, so this is how this is a programmer's code. Let me remove all this to avoid any confusion. Okay, this is the programmer's code, typical programmer's code. Let me increase the font size to 20. Okay, so our programmer's code, and typically we have to save this file, right? For that, the naming convention is test.java. Why test.java? We know why it is test.java, because it should be same as the class name. Especially it is highly recommended to take the class of the main method. Okay, test.java, it is okay. Okay, after this we need to do the compilation. Okay, compiler will come into the picture. Yes or no? This is the compiler. Okay, compiler is coming into the picture, and the moment you give this command java c space test.java, here I am not creating any package, that's why I am giving directly the command like java c space test.java. The moment you give this command, okay, this test.java file will be loaded inside the compiler, and the compiler is going to generate two .class files. Why two .class files? Because there are two classes here. One is class A, second one is class test. I think you are able to identify this. We have class A and we have test class. Right? Compiler is going to do its job. What kind of job it is going to do? It will check for any errors. If the code is error free, okay, two .class files will be generated. What are they? One is test.class file. Second one is a.class file. A.class file. Okay. After this, we will give an instruction to load the .class file. What is an instruction? Java space test. Okay, this test is representing, okay, here when you give test, okay, test.class file will be loaded to the JVM. We know these things already. JVM, okay, test.class file will be loaded inside the JVM. Okay, and at the time of loading the test.class file, all the static context inside the test.class file will be recognized and executed. Yes or no? But there is nothing, there is no static context placed inside the test class. Of course, static method is there, which is a main method. Apart from that, no static block is there, no static variable is there. Okay, after this, main thread will be created. So this is the flow, this is the exact control flow. Okay, main thread will be created, main thread will execute all the instructions that is inside the main method will be executed by the main thread. Okay, main thread is finding only one instruction. Okay, don't you think because of this instruction, okay, the instruction says an object is being created for class A, right? Someone has joined so soon. An object is being created for the class A, okay, because of this instruction. A.Class file will be loaded inside the JVM, right? So don't you think that it's the programmer's duty, I mean, this .class file is being loaded dynamically because of the object creation. I mean, there is a direct relationship. Okay, here we are creating an object. This code is meant for object creation, yes or no? This particular instruction is meant for what? Object creation. Object creation. But in order to proceed with the object creation, firstly JVM is expecting the .class file. Firstly, it needs to get the .class file, then it can work upon the object creation, right? Yes or no? Okay, without loading this .class file, JVM cannot create an object. Okay, our intention is we just want to do the object creation, but JVM wants to work on this .class file to do the object, to proceed with the object creation. Right, our idea is we need to create object, but what JVM is doing, in order to do the object creation, it has to pull the .class file. Okay, this is being loaded and then object is created. First thing is what is happening. First thing, .class file is getting loaded, but that is not our intention. Our intention is to create an object, but internally these things are happening. .class file is getting loaded, then the object creation is happening. Even though we place this instruction only to do the object creation, but before even creating the object, JVM is doing some more work. What JVM is doing, the respective .class file is getting loaded. Okay, can I conclude that, okay, the .class file will be loaded just before the object creation? Okay, when you don't create any object, do you think that the respective .class file will be loaded? It will not get loaded, right? But my intention is okay, now let us go back here. Okay, so .class file is getting loaded, static block will be recognized, we know this already. Okay, output is going to be class loading. Okay, as soon as the object is getting created, a constructor will be called. What will be called? A constructor will be called. Okay, so the respective class constructor will get executed. Okay. Because of this line, there are two things are happening behind the scenes. One is .class file is getting loaded, then object is getting created. Now my intention is, I do not want to create an object. But I want to load the .class file manually. In this case, .class file is being loaded automatically. But my requirement is I want to load the .class file manually without creating an object. Okay, if you consider this as a requirement, and then I have an option to use a method called forName method. I can go for a specific method which is nothing but the forName method. Okay. By using forName method, I can achieve this. What I can achieve this by using forName method, I will not create any object, but still manually I will be loading the .class file to the memory. I will not create object, manually I will be loading the .class file to the memory. Right? For example, see, if you have any washing machines in your house, okay, there are two types of washing machines. One is automatic washing machine. Okay, everything is automated. Okay, so another one is what? The manual automation. Again, in the manual washing machine, it is separated into two parts. One is for washing and the second one is for spinning. Washer will be there as well as spinner will be there. Okay, the moment the clothes are washed, it's your duty to do what? It's your duty to load the washed clothes into the spinner tank, and it spins. and it will be dried completely. Two things are, you are taking care of what? You're doing one additional stuff. You're loading it manually, right? But when you look into the automatic washing machine, okay, it is going to take care of washing as well as spinning. Both will be taken care of by the automatic washing machine itself. But if you want to do the things manually, you do what you do. If you purchase a manual automatic machine, so you need to do an additional stuff. Okay, but each and every washing machine has its own advantages, right? Okay, this is just an analogy. Just like that, if you want to load the bytecode manually, not automatically, you want to load the java.class file manually, you need to use what? For name. How we can use that, we are going to discuss it. Okay, are we good so far? Everyone, type something in the chat box. Everyone, type S in the chat box. Let's keep the session interactive. Okay, this is a very small topic and a good topic. Stay focused. Okay, I will keep it very easy. Okay, my intention is, if I don't want to create object, but and still I want the .class file to be loaded inside the JVM, then I will use the forName method of from java.lang.Class package. forName method of java.lang.Class. Okay, let us discuss the prototype. This is how the prototype of this class looks like. Okay, it is a predefined class. Okay, its access modifier is public, and it is a static class, and the name of the class is class itself. The name of the class is what? The return type is class itself, and the method name is forName. Okay, throws class not found exception. Don't worry about this code. I will give you the justification. This is the prototype of the method. Public. It's a static method. Return type is class itself is a return type. So just think that we have return type. Usually the return types are what? Integer, float, double. These are the return types. Okay. And also return types can be primitive types. Primitive types are what? There are 8 primitive data types, or else class types. Okay. Class types. Class types means you can have the name of the class as the return type itself. Likewise, that the name of the class is class itself. So that is being used as a return type. You will get about this. You will get to know about this more going forward. Okay. This is just the prototype. Public class, public static method. forName is the name of the method, and this forName is going to expect a string argument of fully qualified name of the class. Okay, let us understand this programmatically so that this particular line will be justified. Okay, it is going to throw an exception, class not found exception. Okay, let us understand this programmatically. No worries. Okay, I am taking the same example. Static and a constructor. Okay. I have a class A, so I have placed a static block, and I have placed what? I have placed a constructor here. Okay, my requirement is I do not want to load the a.class file. Okay, by creating an object. Okay, if I do this, definitely I know that if I do this, if I use this particular instruction by using the new keyword, definitely the .class file will be loaded automatically. I do not want that. I want to load the .class file manually. Okay, for that I will do this approach. Okay, here I am using a kind of thing like throws exception. Don't worry about this. I will tell you what is this. Okay, we are going to understand about the exception in the future classes. For now, throws exception is nothing like this method is going to handle some errors. Think like that. Okay, whenever any errors are generated, that generated method errors will be neutralized by these methods. Okay, when you use throws exception, it is like it is handling an exception. For now, think like that. Okay, so name of the class is class dot name of the method for name. Okay, this for name method inside the parameter of the for name method, you need to use the fully qualified name for for the .class file, for the class, for which class you want to load the .class file to the memory. I want to load the a.class file to the memory automatically. So that I need to use what? Fully qualified name. I need to use fully qualified name. What is a fully qualified name? Package name followed by class name. Okay, I will be using what? XYZ is a package name dot class name. Okay, so let me remove everything. Let me open the folder structure. We'll understand this better. Okay, I'm removing all this. I'm coming from the beginning. Let me open the command prompt. Okay, this is my command prompt. Okay, focus here. So this is our class. There are two classes in the package XYZ. We have a package XYZ. Inside this package, we have a class A and we have class test. Okay, so because of this instruction, we are not creating any objects, but we want to load the respective .class file to the memory without creating an object. For that, we need to go for this approach. We need to use for name method. Okay, this is the prototype. Okay, class.forName and give the location, give the absolute path, give the fully qualified name. Fully qualified name. What is a fully qualified name? You want to load a.class file. Okay, I cannot simply give a here. I need to give fully qualified name. Fully qualified name always comes with a package. Okay, this class A is under XYZ package, so I need to define the package name also dot the class name. So this is what the exact definition of what fully qualified name. Package name followed by class name. Okay. The moment I do this, .class file will be loaded in the memory. How do we know that .class files will be loaded into the memory? Static block will be recognized, right? The moment the static block is executed, definitely it says the respective .class file has been loaded inside the memory. That is the proof, right? Yes or no? Okay, how do we know that the .class file is successfully loaded inside the memory? By looking at the execution of the static block. You place a static block. If the static block is executed, what does it really mean? .class file is loaded inside the JVM. Yes or no? Do you agree with me, guys? Are you getting this? If anyone is asking you, is there a way to find the is there any proof that the .class file is getting loaded into the memory? What should be your answer? Yes, there is a proof. What is the proof? If the static block is executed, then the .class file is loaded, right? Yes or no? Agree with me? Yeah, only Chaitanya and Darshan is responding. What about others? What about others? Okay, let me run this. Okay, now you see I have just saved the file. I have just saved the file. Okay, I think you're able to see the test.java. I have just entered control S, so test.java has been failed. Okay, I need to perform the compilation. For the compilation, the command is, see what is happening. Java C space -d space dot space, okay, test.java. Okay, the reason why I am giving the directory here and the dot here is, you know, that because this class is inside a package XYZ. Okay, package will also be created. Let me enter this. Okay, I need to change the directory. CD space. This is the directory, guys. I forgot this. Our file is in D drive. and inside that D drive there is a folder called Java 3. Inside that we have a what? Test.java. You can see here D drive Java 3. Same here, D drive Java 3. Okay, here I am giving the command Java C space -t. So now see here, you will be able to see the package creation. Compilation will also happen, package will also be created. Are you able to see XYZ? It has been generated just now. Compilation is also done, package is also created. Okay, how do we know that compilation is done? Go inside this package, you will see two .class files. This is class file, this is another class file. So a.class and test.class. Okay, now go back to the code. Inside the code, we are not creating any object for class A. Are we creating any object for class A? No, we are not creating any object for class A. But still you want to load what? You want to load the byte code to the memory. A.class file byte code to the memory. For that, you are using a new method called forName method. Inside the forName method, you are specifying. What you are specifying? Please load the A class which is inside XYZ package. We are specifying. There is a specification here. We are very clear about the about which file needs to be loaded inside the JVM. That's been specified here. Okay, this file will get loaded now manually. We are doing it manually, right? Well, if I ever have to run this, execute this code, for that the command is java space xyz dot test. Why test? You always need to load the main.class file. So this main.class main method is placed inside the test class. That's why I'm loading test. Okay, see, now we are getting class loading in the console. What does it really mean? Okay, this class loading is part of which method? This which block? This static block. Okay, this static block. So this static block is part of which class? Class A. It means, don't you think that a.class file is loaded manually? Do you agree with me? Everyone, are you getting this? What is the other way? So if you're not following this, okay, usually this is how the .class file will be loaded. How a obj equal to new A. Okay, the moment you give this command, definitely .class file of A will be loaded. Okay, so we are doing the object creation, but on the part of object creation, okay, this .class file is getting loaded first, then the object is getting created second. Okay, if you do this, the output is going to be class loading as well as object is creating, because you are calling a constructor. Okay, this is automated. So you are creating an object, but on part of object creation, static content is also recognized. Why it is recognized? Because .class file is getting loaded. Okay, but without doing this, if you just want to load the .class file, this is the approach. This is the approach, right? Let me add this in the notes. Okay, I hope this program is making sense. But what are the things that is happening internally that we will understand? Okay, let us copy this comment. Okay, so same thing previously. So this was the instruction. Now the new instruction is, this is the new instruction. Okay, the purpose is same. Okay, but because of this instruction, the object is not getting created. Only .class file is getting loaded. Only .class file is getting loaded and the object is not getting created. .class file is getting loaded manually and the object is not getting created. But this instruction does two things: object creation as well as .class file is also getting loaded. But this instruction is doing only one thing: only the respective .class file is getting loaded. Okay, so you may be having a doubt. Okay, we are loading the .class file to the JVM manually. What if I do this over and over again? Do you think that the .class file is going to get loaded manually for 3 times? Okay, if I run this code, You might be getting a question like this. Okay, we say that we are trying to load the .class file to the JVM manually. Does it mean that if you keep repeating the statements for more occasions, is it like the every time the .class file is getting loaded manually, then the output is going to be class loading, class loading, class loading for the 3 times? No, that will not be the case. At any cost, .class file will be loaded only once. Only one time you will get class loading. Okay, the remaining times, okay, it will check if the .class file is already there in the JVM or not. If it is already there in the JVM, it's going to skip this. It's going to skip this. For the first time, it will be loaded, even though you repeat this statement for any number of times. Only for the first time. Remember this, .class files will be loaded inside JVM only once. Even though you try to push it manually any number of times, for the first time it will be loaded and recognized. Next time, it will check if it is already there inside the JVM. If it is not there, then it will be loaded. Making sense? Okay, now you see, we are trying to load the .class file. Okay, the moment you give this instruction, okay, the moment this instruction is defined inside the main method, okay, there are something, the JVM will try to find this .class file in 3 locations. One is the current location. Second one is in the Java predefined, very important, predefined libraries. Third one is in the class path environmental variables. Okay, if the JVM is unable to find the respective .class files in any of these locations, it will throw class not found exception. Right? What does it mean? The moment you give this instruction to the JVM, you are telling the JVM, you will be able to find the file in this location. In which location? In the XYZ package. Inside this package, you will be able to find the .class file of A. Okay, JVM will try to find in the current location. So this is the current location. Okay, we are specifying, we are telling the JVM, you can find this .class file in this location. Okay, JVM will try to find. Okay, there is an XYZ package inside it. Okay, it has identified A.class file. It is identified. What if you are giving a statement? You are lying in the statement. You are saying that you can able to find a .class file of B. What I'm saying, inside the XYZ package, there can be a file called B class file. Okay, try to load this file into the JVM. Okay, so this is a command that has been specified by you. Your intention is not to give the wrong information. By mistake, you have given this. Instead of giving A, by mistake, you have given B. By mistake. It has happened by mistake. People will do mistakes. Okay, what JVM will do? Firstly, JVM will do, it will try this, it will try for this file in the current location. What is the current location? XYZ.B, right? Go to the folder. Okay, inside the XYZ package, it will verify if there is any .class file by the name of B. No, there is no such file. We have A.class file. We have test.class file. No B.class file. There is no such file. Okay, then okay, it will not throw any error. And again, next thing is it is going to identify the same thing in where? In the Java predefined libraries. When you download Java, okay, there is a file inside the Java. There will be a lot of subsets. There will be a lot of subfolders. Okay, there will be some files in the Java library. Over there, it will try to find if there is any file by the name of A.class. If it is not finding that, it will try to identify this in the class path environmental variables. It is also another location. Okay. It will search in these 3 locations. Okay, if it is not able to find in these 3 locations, it will give what? Class not found exception. Where is the proof? Okay, so this is not our intention to give the wrong wrong directory or wrong package name or the wrong .class file name. Okay, what happens by accidentally if you are trying to give the wrong path here? Okay, if I run this, we will get error class not found error in the runtime. You are able to see java.lang.Class not found exception. This is a runtime exception. Okay, before even throwing this exception, it will search in all these locations, the current location, in the predefined library, the class path environment. If it is not identifying in all these locations, it will say, hey man, I'm not able to find the file that you have defined. So this is the exception. What exception? Class not found exception. Why do we get class not found exception? If the JVM is not able to, if the main thread is not able to identify the given .class file in these 3 locations, then definitely it is going to throw an exception saying that class not found exception. I tried to load, I tried to load the given .class file, but I am not able to identify it. Class not found. Okay, sometimes what happens, so let us go back, let us understand this. See, okay, let me give this as xyz.a itself. xyz.a itself. Okay, I just saved this. Let us start from the beginning. Let us delete all this. Let's delete all this. Now nothing is there. Okay, now I am saving this. Okay, test.java has been created. Test.java has been created after the saving. Okay, I need to perform the compilation. We know this. Okay. Because of our compilation, we are able to see the package name as well as compilation is successful. Okay, inside this package, you are able to see what? A.class file and test.class. But I'm deleting this .class file accidentally. See, I'm deleting this. .class file is there. In the runtime, I'm deleting, or someone is deleting this. Just imagine that someone is deleting this. You as a programmer, you have compiled this and this .class file has been generated. But there is another programmer. It was not his intention to delete this, but accidentally deleted this .class file. Sometimes mistakes may happen. Okay, so we are on the verge of execution. We are about to do the execution, but before even starting the execution, okay, the respective .class file has been deleted by someone, just for the imagination. Okay, so in this gap, .class file is deleted. I'm trying to execute this code. Okay, we get error. Class not found exception error. Compilation time it was there, but during the runtime it was not there. Okay, do you think that JVM is going to throw this error just like that? No. It will check, it will try to find the .class file in 3 areas. What are they? These are the areas: current location, Java predefined library, the class path environment. If it is not able to identify in all these 3 locations, this is what the error that you get. Why you get this error? Sometimes some accidents may happen, some exceptions may happen. Someone might be deleting our code by, in the accidental way. There are chances, right? So this exception is like, for example, when you're writing an exams, or you go to, especially in your 10th or plus 2, usually you take your all ticket, right? You carry your all ticket, but still your parents is going to remind you about the all ticket, and they will also ask you if you are carrying any additional pens. Okay, there are chances that your pen might not work, so that there will be a backup. Okay, there are high chances. So these are the kind of checkings that usually happens in the compilation time. Just connect this with the compilation time. So compiler is going to do the basic checks. Exceptions are like an unexpected event. What is an unexpected event? If the unexpected event can be like, you are going to write an exam. So in the examination hall, okay, sometimes, we may get fainted. We may fall down, okay, because of lack of energy, because of fear. That is an exception. These things, no one can expect these kind of things. It occurs very rarely. If that is occurring, we call it as what? Exception, right? Things that are happening very rarely. If you are you travel to your college by bike or by car or by public transportation, let us say that you are You want to catch a local train, but the local train is delayed for 1 hour or 2 hours during the examination time. But you have only one mode of transportation, which is a local train, but it is late for 2 hours. That is an exception. It has not happened so far, but on your examination it is happening. What does it really mean? It is an exception, an unexpected event. Such things. Likewise, you are saying that you are giving an instruction to the main thread saying that you will be able to identify a .class file in this location. Okay? But there is a less chance for the main thread to there may be some kind of accidental things where this file name might be missing, someone might be deleted it, but things are rare. If these rare things are happening, okay, the program should not get terminated abnormally. Abnormal termination should not happen. Okay, for example, System.out.println. Okay, very important. Okay, let me run this code. I will tell you what is it. See, exception in the main thread. So if the exception has happened, okay, this exception has been caught by the JVM because of this particular statement, throws exception. We will understand about this in the future. For now, okay, if some unexpected event is occurring, that will be taken care by this particular statement, throws exception. Okay, so if any exception is happening, and after this line, if the program is getting terminated abnormally, there will be more number of lines that we are going to place after this specific line. Okay, that may not get executed because of this exception. Okay, program will be stopped. Okay, this very important code will not get executed. Okay, to handle these things, we go for exception handling. That is a different topic. For now, just stick to this throws keyword. If you don't use this throws keyword, okay, you will not able to run this code. Okay, throws keyword, if any unexpected event occurs, okay, this exceptional events can be handled by this throws keyword. You are just passing the information saying that, okay, this particular piece of code may raise an exception that should be handled. To handle that, we are using throws exception. For now, just stick to this. Okay, we will be having a lot of lot of discussions on the exception handling. Okay, so I think you have understood the class.forName to load the .class file manually, and it will identify the 3 locations. These are the 3 locations. If it is not able to identify, then it will throw an exception, class not found exception, because of the small mistakes. Okay, the theory can be like JVM will take the provided class name and JVM will search for its .class files at current location Java predefined library and the class path environment variables. If it is not able to identify in all these 3 locations, then it will throw an error. Okay. Second thing, if the required .class file is not identified by JVM at all the 3 locations, it will throw an error which is what? Well, it will throw an exception, not error. Okay, exception. Errors are always thrown by compiler. Exceptions are always thrown by JVMs, runtime. Exceptions are always runtime. Remember this. Errors are for compilers. Errors are mean for compilers. Compiler will throw errors. Like it can be syntactical errors, whatever it is. But when there is any error occurring in the runtime, we call it as what? Exceptions. Exceptions. JVM or runtime. Okay, so it will throw an exception, which is don't worry about this. It is a big topic. We will discuss that. Okay, for now, just this understanding is okay. Exception. Okay, if the required .class file is found, what happens if the required .class file is found? Then it will be loaded inside the JVM. After loading, what will happen? Static context will be recognized and executed. Okay, but object creation is not happening. So do you think that object is created? No, object is not created. Only one thing is happening is static context is recognized and executed. Only class is getting loaded. Object is not created. Where is the proof? Because this constructor is not getting executed. What does it mean? Object is never created. Okay, so it is like object is never created. Okay, and even though if you load the .class file, if you load the .class file by using .forName method any number of times, even though if you try to, let me correct this, try to load the .class file by using the .forName many number of times, the .class file gets loaded only once. Okay, this is the main takeaway, only once. It's not like every time the .class file will be loaded. It will be loaded only once. Okay. Then after the loading, after the complete loading, JVM collects the metadata of the loaded .class file. What is it? What is the meaning of this metadata? We will understand now. Okay, metadata is like you can able to get all the information related to that .class file. What kind of information that you are going to get, that we will see now. Okay, you will get all the information. Information can be like, okay, this is the .class file loading. Okay, you can also do this. You can assign a variable to this. You can assign a variable to this. Variable name can be anything. Okay, I'm creating the variable name as C. You can assign a variable name to this, and you can keep the data type as class. Okay, I'm using a variable name and I'm keeping the data type as class itself. Very simple. So for example, if you have any value 100, like if some method is returning, let me see. If I have a method like inside the class here, if I have a method like integer method, okay, this method is returning me what? Return 100. Let us take this as a static method. Okay, this is a static method. Return type is integer. Name of the method is method itself. In order to call this method, what is an approach that I can follow to call that method? Okay, this is a static method. So I will be using what? The class name a dot method name. Okay, a dot method. Okay, when I do this, this method will be called, but I need to store the return type here. To that you will assign something, you will assign the value by what, by with this respect to data type. You can keep the object name as anything. Okay? The moment you call this method, it is going to return 100. This 100 needs to be stored to a variable. So you are using I, data type is integer. Why integer? Because it is integer type. Likewise, this class.forName is going to return something. Okay, we will catch that something here. Okay, and the return type is class itself. Okay, how will understand? System.out.println. Okay, so you will use this variable name c dot. Okay, you can get the name of the class. You will use get name. Okay, these are the inbuilt methods that is available in the predefined library. Okay, get name, get package. To get the name of the package, you will use reference variable name dot get package. Okay, all the metadata, these are the metadata information. Get constructors you have. Okay, and you also have a method like get classes. Okay, if I run this, the output is going to be what? You will get all the metadata. See? Class is loading because of the static context. XY is a dot A. You are getting the package name. You are getting the constructor related information. You are getting the class related information. These are called as what? The metadata. Metadata is things that are related to the respective class. Data of class. So this is what the name. Okay, this is what the exact package name. Okay, this is what the constructor specification. Constructor specification. Okay, this is what the class level specification. These things are called as what? Metadata of a class. You will get all the metadata of a respective class with the help of this forName method. Okay, first thing is you will be able to load the bytecode to the memory, and if you want to get metadata like the name of the loaded class, name of the package, name of the constructor, name of the classes inside the package, okay, you will go for these individual methods. This is what is representing what metadata of the respective class. Let me include this. So this is the metadata. Okay, so this is what I have added. JVM collects the metadata of the loaded class. Right. So this is all about what? This is all about the respective forName method. Okay. Now we are able to load the .class file. Okay. Now I want to create an object without using what? Without using new keyword. Okay. What I want to do, my next requirement is, please focus here. My next requirement, I want to create an object for the loaded class without using the new keyword. In order to create an object for the loaded class without using the new keyword, I will go for what? newInstance method. Okay. To create an object for the we will use the following method from the java.lang.Class. So the method prototype is public object new instance. Okay. Throws instantiation exception illegal access exception. Okay, we will understand about this prototype now. Okay, so now my requirement is I am able to load the .class file without using the constructor or the new keyword. Okay, I have achieved that, and again I want to achieve the object creation. I want to achieve what? I want to achieve the object creation. For that I will be using what? The class dot, a new instance method. Okay. The moment I do this, c dot new instance. Okay, I'm taking this variable name c. On top of this variable name, okay, I am calling what? I am using the I'm creating an object by using the new instance method. Okay, here I'm saying please be informed that I'm not using, or I can say that please be informed that if you want to create object without using new keyword in the existing syntax, okay, we will have to use what? We will have to use, if you log out of the meeting, please rejoin. This is very important. The class will be for 15 minutes. Okay, new instance method. This new instance method, on top of this object reference, okay, you call new instance method. Because of this, the object is created. How do we know that the object is getting created? The moment the object is getting created, the respective class constructor needs to be called. Okay, so we are loading the .class file of which class? A class. Okay, and this reference variable is meant for class A. Okay, on top of this reference variable C, I am calling the new instance method. What does it mean? Okay, object will be created. When the object is getting created, don't you think that this constructor will be called? Let me run this. See, class is loading, object is created. This is the proof I'm giving. Okay guys, I hope I am audible and my screen is visible. Can you please confirm? Okay. See, new instance method will is helping us to create the object on top of. Okay. On top of this reference variable. Okay, previously, so with this particular statement a obj equal to new a, okay, this statement is helping us to do what? Do two things. What is the first thing? Load the class. The respective class is getting loaded inside the JVM. Second thing is what? Object is created. So on the process of object creation, the respective class constructor is called. Okay, because of this one statement, we are able to achieve two things, but we have separated this now. We just want to do this independently. Firstly, .class file is loaded separately, okay, and we need to create an object. Okay, for that, with the object reference of the respective class, we are using the new instance method. Okay, it means that this particular line is creating an object. This is loading the class, or loading the .class. Okay, the object is being created for this class. Object is being created for this class, for the loaded class, because of this new instance method. What is the proof? If I execute this code, output is what? Class loading, object is created. Now you see this, something interesting will happen. Okay, you can do the object creation any number of times, no issues. Okay, I'm calling the new instance method for 4 times. What does it mean? Object will be created for 4 times. But it is not the same case with the loading the .class file. Okay, even though you give the instruction to load the .class file for any number of times, only once it will be loaded. But for the object creation, it is not similar. For the object creation, it happens every time the moment you give the instruction. Okay, this time the object will be created for 4 times. Yes or no? Run this, you will be able to see that .class file is getting loaded only once, but the object is getting created for the 4 times. You can create object for any number of times, but you can load .class file only once. So this is the takeaway. Okay, why we are doing all this? We are happy with the previous instruction a obj equal to a. Why we are supposed to do all this? That could be a question triggering in your mind. Why we are supposed to do all this? Okay. Sometimes you want to load some external libraries. So in order to work with Java libraries, you will not face any issues. You can directly use the new keyword to do the object creation. Sometimes you will be depending upon the external libraries. You want to load, you want to connect with the databases. Advanced Java topic. You want to connect with the external databases. Database is a different language. It is using SQL language. But you need to connect to the database by using Java language. So you will use third-party libraries. To deal with third-party libraries, you will use class. You will load those drivers by using this class.forName. We will understand this in the future topics much better. Okay, for now you need to understand that okay, there is an option to load the .class file, another option to load the .class file independently or manually. If you want to achieve that, you have to use what? Class.forName. After using this, if you want to create an object for the same .class file, you need to use what? New instance method. Okay, this understanding is very important for now. For now, stick to this understanding. For now, what? Stick to this understanding. Okay. So now let us go back to on discussing some theory. Okay. The moment you give this c dot new instance method. Okay. Firstly, JVM will go to the loaded class where JVM will search for zero argument constructor and non-private constructor. What does it really mean? Okay. Once you try to create an object by using new instance method, JVM will try to identify 2 things. What are the first thing? It will try to identify if the constructor is zero argument. First thing is it will check the constructor of class A. We have a constructor inside the class A. Okay. So if you are placing a constructor, it should be zero argument constructor. You should not pass any arguments. There should be at least one zero argument constructor. Okay. If you are not placing any zero argument constructor, you will get an error. For example, if I am placing an argument constructor, for example, if I am placing integer a, okay, this is an argument constructor. What kind of argument it is accepting? An integer argument it is accepting. But JVM will try to find a constructor with no arguments. If it is not able to identify the no argument constructor, it is going to throw an error. What kind of error it is going to throw? We'll see. Okay, it's a java.lang.instantiation exception. So this is the error that you will get. Okay, it is mandatory for us, it is mandatory for the JVM to identify or to look for the zero argument constructor. If there is no zero argument constructor found, if any kind of constructor like this is found by the JVM, okay, this is what the error you will get. Let me copy this. Okay, JVM will try to search for zero argument constructor. Okay, and if it is not able to identify zero argument constructor, okay, the following error would be thrown. Error will be thrown. So this is the error. java.lang.instantiation exception. Sorry, it is not error. It is an exception. The following exception would be thrown. Exception would be thrown, which is java.lang.instantiation exception. Okay. In order to avoid this exception, one should place at least one zero or no argument constructor. No argument constructor. Right. Now let us understand. Okay, if I remove this, do we get any exception? Let me remove this. So I have removed the zero argument constructor. Do you think that we will get exception? Okay, this many classes has come here. I have removed a constructor. Okay, so JVM is going to find the zero argument constructor, but literally zero argument constructor is not there here. Okay, zero argument, as a developer, I did not place any zero argument constructor here. Okay, but I am trying to call new instance method. Okay, what is the requirement for the new instance method? There should be at least one zero argument constructor. If it is not finding zero argument constructor, it is going to throw an error. java.lang.instantiation exception error will be thrown. Okay, having said this, I have written a code in such a way that I did not place any zero argument constructor, but I wanted to load the .class file. So till here we will not get error, but here the moment you call new instance method, first it will identify for the zero argument constructor which is not placed by the programmer or the developer. Do we get error here? Or the program will get executed? Any answers from me? Any ideas from you? Can anyone answer this? Chaitanya says error. What about others? Got my question right? JVM will look for zero argument constructor, guys, but I have removed that zero. Previously it was there. Previously there was a zero argument constructor, but I have removed that now. Intentionally I have removed that. Okay. So when you are calling the new instance method, do we get error or it will work fine? Samikta, Shashwan, Darshini, Aku, Ula Venkatesh, Jyoti and Jyoti, yes. I want answers from you. At least have you understood my question? Come on guys, response. Or don't know, whatever, responded something. I'm waiting for answers, no? Only Chaitanya is responding. Are you able to hear me? Jyoti says error, Chaitanya says error, Samikta says error. Response, okay. Response, no. So we are not getting any error. Why will not get error? I have already said you many times, right, in the constructor topic. If you're not placing any constructor, definitely the compiler is going to place a default constructor. This default constructor will be placed by the compiler. So you don't see any constructor visibly here, but still there is a default constructor. If a programmer has forgotten to place any constructor, definitely compiler will come into the picture. It is going to place a default constructor, imaginary things. This constructor, it will be placed by a compiler. This is an interview question. Okay, so it will be able to identify the no argument constructor which is placed by the compiler, which you don't see it. Behind the scenes this is happening. Do you agree with me, everyone? Constructors topic. Yeah, default constructor will be placed by the compiler. That's why you don't get any error. That's why it is getting executed successfully. Okay, but if you are placing any constructor, it should always be what? It should always be the no argument constructor. It should always be what? The no argument constructor. So this should be object creation, no argument constructor, and the compiler will be happy, and the new instance method will have no issues. Definitely this code is also valid because this is a no argument constructor. Class loading, object creation, constructor is called. Okay, but if you are placing a constructor which is taking any argument apart from no argument, now this time you will get error. Why you will get error this time? It will expect zero argument constructor, but we have defined a constructor which is an argument constructor. So we get what? Instantiation exception. I hope this topic is making sense now. Are you getting this, everyone? This is an interview question. That's why I'm stressing much on this. Okay. So we got to know what is an instantiation. The question could be like, on what cases we get the java.lang.instantiation exception with respect to the new instance method. So this is one of the cases. Okay. So when you see instantiation exception, the error could be in the constructor itself. Why the error could be in the constructor itself? Because it is a constructor that is accepting an argument, but it should be always be a zero argument constructor. If you, okay, sometimes it could be like this. Okay, so this is arg constructor, argcon. Okay, and the another one, this is nor constructor. Okay. So do you think that we will get error now? Error, or it will be compiled successfully? Error, or it will be compiled successfully. So I have placed a nor constructor is also there, and one argument constructor is also there. As per the theory, it will look for the nor constructor. Okay, it has found the nor constructor, then no issues. Even though you can keep any number of argument constructor, no issues. It should find the nor constructor. That's the idea. That's the takeaway. So here you will not get any error. There is a nor constructor, so it is happy with that. Okay, so this should not be the case. This should not be the case. If this is the case, you will get instantiation exception. At least one nor constructor should be there. One constructor should be there. Very, very important interview question. Okay, getting this, everyone? Yes, no? Yeah, now the next thing is, so this is one exception. Another exception is, guys, listen here. This constructor, even though it is a nor constructor, okay, this constructor should be a non-private constructor. Second point. First point is, JVM will try to find if the constructor is zero argument constructor. Okay, second point, very, very important, guys. Okay, second point is, JVM will go to the loaded class where JVM will search for the non-private constructor. Non-private constructor. When I say non-private constructor, and if it is not able to identify the non-private constructor, the following exception would be, we will try to identify the exception. What is a non-private constructor? You can have any constructor. So this is a constructor. This is a non-private, and this is another constructor. Okay. Don't you think that this is also non-private? Even though it is public, it is a non-private. And this is another constructor, protector. This is also non-private. Do you agree with me? This is one non-private. Okay. This is also a non-private constructor. This is also a non-private constructor. Agreed? Okay. So this is a private constructor. You can have any constructor and the no argument constructor and a non-private constructor. This is not supposed to happen. This is a private constructor. Okay. The new instance method expects a nor constructor. That is one takeaway. Second one is it should be non-private. Non-private means it should not be a private. It can be this, it can also be this, it can also be this, but not this. Non-private constructor. Okay, having said this, let me go back, and if I do this private, it's a private constructor. Okay, it should always be non-private. If I make it as a private constructor, now you see the error, what error we are going to get. This is another interview question. We will get illegal access exception. Okay, you get what? You get illegal access exception. It should be a non-private constructor. It should never be a private constructor. When you do that, you will get what? You will get illegal access exception. Okay, this is the exception that you will get. Two exception we have studied. Three exception we have studied. Class not found, illegal access exception. Okay, and the definition says the following exception will be thrown, which is nothing but illegal access exception. And in order to avoid this, okay, the constructor should always be non-private. What does the non-private mean? What does the non-private mean? It should not be private. It can be default or it can be public. It can be public also, no issues. I will get the respective output. Will be able to access, no issues. It can be protected also, no issues with the protected. These are the access things we have discussed in access modifiers class. No issues. Can be default. Default means without any specifications, but it cannot be private. Okay. So the moment you use newInstance method, it will look for two things. The constructor should be nor constructor. The second thing is what? It should be non-private. Okay, what if I am giving this constructor and I am violating these two things? Okay, I have placed a private constructor as well as I have passing an argument. Which exception will be thrown first? Okay, at any point of time, only one exception will be thrown. Only one exception. In this case, we will get what? Instantiation. Instantiation exception is a priority. Instantiation exception. Because of this code, we will get what? Instantiation exception. So we are violating the two rules which we have just defined, Okay, when you violate the two rules, you will get only one exception. That is what? The instantiation exception. What is it? You will get instantiation. Even though you violate two rules, you will get instantiation exception. Okay, the conclusion is very simple here. Conclusion clearly says, okay, the newInstance method, when you try to invoke the newInstance method, it will look for zero argument constructor. If it is finding zero argument constructor, no issues. If it is not finding, you will get instantiation exception. What instantiation exception you will get? Secondly, if it is finding non-private constructor, if the construction is private, illegal access exception. The construction is private, illegal access exception. But if you are violating these two rules, construction is a private as well as you are passing an argument, okay, instantiation exception will be preferred. You will get only one exception, which is nothing but instantiation exception. Okay. Having said all this, if I do a small manipulation, this is a private constructor. You can have such things, but at least one thing should be satisfied. I am having a public constructor which is satisfying the expectations of newInstance method. Satisfied. Satisfied. Why satisfied? Nor constructor and non-private constructor. No issues. Even though you have private constructor, there will be no issues. It is able to identify one such construction which is following, which has no violation. So the output will be executed. You will get the what? Class loading satisfied. Only idea here is, okay, when you use newInstance method, it should follow. You should ensure that the two rules are satisfied. One is nor constructor should be there, non-private constructor should be there. You can have any kind of violation on any other constructors, no issues. Identify only one constructor with the respective rules. Getting this, everyone? Very, very important in the interview room, these things. Yes, no? Okay, do some practice. This is a new topic, so you need you need some practice, especially on these topics. You will get this very simple. Okay, so where you will be using all this? Okay, you will be using all this in the advanced Java topics, which are nothing but JDBC connection and servlets. Okay, these are the advanced Java topics. You don't have to worry about these advanced Java topics. Okay, we are just learning Java standard edition. Okay, these are the self-explanatory. You can learn it by yourself once after completing this core Java topics or the Java standard edition. Okay, this is self-explanatory. Okay, that's all about this today's class. Okay, if you have any